and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Well, this is my top shelf news for the week. We're getting back on track here, but this is my top news as it relates to science fiction, fantasy, sometimes horror, mostly as it relates to books, but also we got some media stuff to jump into. So let's jump into it. All right, first things first, and I kind of got to speed run through this. I'm sorry, I got to pick up a kid from lacrosse of all things. All right, so first things first, I think maybe the biggest news, I don't know. Joe Abercrombie is doing a tour here coming up soon in May, somehow aligning with the release of his new books, or his new book, The Devils. So that's pretty cool. Looks like it starts in May in New York. For me, who's in Colorado, I was pretty pumped that he's actually going to be in Littleton, Colorado, which is right, it's just Denver, pretty much a suburb. And then also in on the other side of me, not that far away, I mean, I could potentially go to both, I don't know, but also doing a signing with Brandon Sanderson present in Utah, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, it's a pretty cool schedule. Anyway, cool to see Abercrombie coming across the pond for his book. Obviously, they're pulling out all the stops for this huge tour. A new series from Michael J. Sullivan in the Elan world, so that's pretty cool. If you're a fan of that series, then we got more. So there's a new series coming out. I didn't have a ton of information about it, but it is very exciting for the fans. I've been making my way slowly through, again, not trying to overwhelm. I have issues, I know, with I just never anymore, ever since I blame it on Wheel of Time, even though I love Wheel of Time, but I blame that on killing my ability to really read a full series altogether. I never want to get tired of it. I want to keep it fresh, so then I like to just insert other books in between. But anyway, I've been reading through the Legends of the First Empire series, and it's been excellent. And so this is just great news. So cool. Speaking of new books, we've got Jay Kristoff's third book in the Empire of the Vampire series. It's got a title, Empire of the Dawn, and we're going to get a cover reveal at Mike's Book Reviews next week, it's looking like. So I think March 13th. So definitely check out Mike's Book Review. You definitely are if you're on this channel anyway, but obviously he has a great channel, and that's pretty cool news. Good to see. I just love to see this through the booktube channels. All right, then, speaking of huge just news on, we got I talked about this before, Andrzej Sapkowski, I don't know, people have corrected me, and now I'm like, crap, I should have looked up how to pronounce this better. The Witcher author has got a new book, and it looks like it's coming out in September of this year, so that's pretty cool. I mean, translated and everything, not just out in Polish, but out for us in the English speaking world. How cool is that? I mean, that's pretty dang impressive. But it's going to be Crossroads of Ravens. I'm not sure if I love that title. It's a little clunky a little bit, but there was some translation that I'd reported on of the Polish cover that said something to this effect. We knew it was going to be something with ravens and maybe the crossing of them or something. So that makes more sense now. We got a new cover, and I think Patrick Leo announced a new cover for Brian Asher's new book, Tortured Kingdom, art by Batsky. That's all. I'm not sure exactly, but I want to give credit to artists every time if I can. But art looks pretty good, and I've just heard great things. I heard he's working on this might be the book, but he's working on a lit RPG. If it's not this one, editing Bryce will have to figure that out. This is kind of big news for a very specific author that you may or may not know about. So, J.V. Jones. This is one. J.V. Jones has been an author for some time now. I remember back in the day when I started getting online, her novels were often promoted as a good place to go for your epic fantasy. There's Cavern of Black Ice, and a whole series in, Sword of Shadows series. And so it's looking like this has been one of those where nobody's complained about this author, and I'm assuming, that I've seen, and it's just because it's a lesser known author, but this is pretty cool news to see that apparently book 5, which is the penultimate, so second to last book in the series. I have to say second to last for me. I'm not doing it for you. Just so I understand what that means. But it's pretty cool after, it looks like 25 years around there, we've got a 5th book. So 1999 was the first book, Cavern of Black Ice. 2002, the second. 2007, 2010. And then we've got 2025. So the Wirt Zone is where I got this news. He reports on just that there's, struggles in the author's life. And, this is where I love that authors do what they do. Thank you so much. But also, not all authors can do this full time. I wish they all could that want to do it, that even get published. It's just not possible. Adam Whitehead reports on the fact that, just life happened, some bereavements, which just lots of setbacks. And so all these things, but then have kind of, culminated in a book not coming out, and just no writing time to happen, and a full-time job having to happen. But now, just in literally the last year or so, that things are moving, and finally it's finished. And so we have this second to last book in the series. So that's pretty cool. Congrats to J.B. Jones. I think that's awesome. Great news, and does make me want to pick this up because I have heard really great things. This is something I also got from the Wirt Zone, so thank you. Good source of news, I will tell you. Been blogging for ages, and I've followed him for ages, for so long. So anyway, let's talk about the media. I just got one bit of media news I wanted to remark on, but this was cool because I love the Culture series. I've only read 2 books, but I plan on reading all of them. It's by Ian M. Banks. Consider Phlebas is the first one. The Player of Games is my favorite of the 2 so far. I have Use of Weapons, been on my list here for some time. I need to get back up here and just continue that series. They're excellent. So good. Just really good post-scarcity sci-fi. And I love it. And anyway, apparently might be moving forward on Amazon Prime for a TV show. TV series, which makes sense for this series. Like, it's kind of the Culture, like each book is really kind of its own standalone in this like Culture universe. Kind of can deal with the same like races and peoples and cultures and whatnot, cultures, and but all, and kind of only barely maybe references other books or other characters, but not like enough that you have to have read it all. Not bad too. Doesn't hurt. But that's as I understand it. Again, 2 books in, but also having looked into it a little more. But basically, that's cool for that. Apparently, Bezos is a big Culture fan and was wanting to do this ages ago, but the problem is it just didn't work out. I mean, as we've learned from like Brandon Sanderson, Mistborn just didn't work out. This seems to happen all the time. But apparently, since The Expanse is done, it's time. Hey, what's the next thing we can do? So this is back on the table. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, that was my super quick run through lightning news. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Remember, there are Kindle deals down in the description below. Does support the channel. Feel free to or feel free not to. It's up to you. But anyway, check that out. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.